Welcome back to IGN Live from Gamescom. We are playing Ni No Kuni 2 with Fred and Pierre. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Let's jump right into the game and give us a quick overview of this. Of course, there's the original Ni No Kuni was a PlayStation 3 game. This is not a direct sequel, but takes place in the same universe, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. The game is taking place in a same universe, sometimes before or after. It's not entirely clear yet. And it's a completely new story. So new characters. You do not necessarily need to play the first one to understand and enjoy this one. And the story is all about Evan, that you can see right here, and his friend Roland. So Evan has been victim of a coup in his own kingdom of Ding Dong Dell. And now he's hiding in the mountains. And he will have to decide what he wants to do now. And probably his next move will be to decide to become a run-through king, and he will go on and try to set up his own kingdom. And right now, this mission right here, it's very early in the game. It's actually in the village of Cloud Coil Canyons. We are with the Sky Pirates that he met in the mountain. And he will have to save Tani, one of the girls from the clan of the Sky Pirates.
Now, we say a lot at IGN when we're playing video games. We're like, that game looks like a cartoon. This one actually looks like a cartoon. How do you sort of like conquer the sort of idea of making a game that looks like a video game and a cartoon at the same time? This looks like a playable cartoon. So how do you land on that?
Well, that actually has to do with the way the team is set up, because behind the character design, there's a lot of people coming from the animation. So you have Yoshiyuki Momose, who used to be an animator at Studio Ghibli, and he worked on movies like Spirited Away, for instance, and The Grave of the Fireflies. And that guy is designing all the characters of Ni No Kuni 2. So you've got this influence from those kind of Japanese animated movies. And you have also people like Joe Hisaishi making the music and the soundtrack. And we've got this great team working at level 5, making those amazing visuals. And that's how you get this cartoon type and the characters themselves. But if you look closely at the environments, they are way more realistic, especially from the first game on. You've got some bump mapping, you've got some realistic texture, and you've got this unique mix that's, pretty cool and different from what we had in the first game and different from most of the game on the market.
So you've got new characters, new story, but are there any references to characters or events from the first game? Yeah,
I'm sure if you play the first games, you will see some Easter eggs. You will recognize some characters, you will recognize some places, but for the most part, the adventure is brand new. So, as I said, you don't have to play, but if you know the universe, well...
you may get a little bit more out of it.
Exactly. You'll know more surprises.
So this can be your first Ni No Kuni game?
It can be, completely. So what we have right now is the traveling mode.
Wow.
It's set in the diorama mode, so you see the people, character are very chibi style. I'm not sure if you can hear the music that much, but that's supposedly the moment where this great Joe Hisaishi music is kicking off.
And so is this sort of what we can call the overworld here?
Yes, that's the traveling mode between two cities or two dungeons. And as you can see, there's a mini-map, and you can definitely choose your path. So right now, the mission is to head for the Wyvern's Den, but you do not have to go straight. It's not a linear path. You can actually choose where you want to go, how you want to get there. And if you're curious, if you're looking for stuff, you can discover a bunch of items, chests, and a few surprises. So explorers are welcome. And as you can see, there's a plane here. You've got the sea over there, and you can see the rest of the world. So it's all interconnected. It's not just a unique level. And here's the combat system. So when you see these enemies, and if they see you, and if you touch them, you enter this combat mode. So that's one of the big news from the precedent game. It's entirely real-time now. It's nothing to do with menu. There's no turn-based strategy. It's all one button, one action. So what Fred is doing right now is hitting those little blobs with the regular and heavy attacks. And he also got this range attack. So all of the attacks are tied to a button. So that's a square, triangle, and
so how did you guys decide to go with this combat system rather than something that was more traditional RPG turn-based?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the original Ni No Kuni, it comes from a game that was published on the DS. And at the time, doing the turn-based system was the most obvious thing to do. So when they ported the game onto PS3, they decided to have something a little bit more action-oriented, and that's how we ended up with the monster system from the first game. But now the standard of JRPG have evolved again, and we've got some new games like looking at a Persona, looking at Zelda. Everything is brand new, so they want to raise the bar again, and they really, really want to deliver the best combat system possible.
So we even see hand-drawn elements like in the mini-map in the upper right.
Oh yeah, there's a huge influence. I mean, there are some artworks for this game. Everything is so gorgeous. There's a bunch of people at level 5 and in the team behind the game. They're so talented.
And we're seeing the character sort of collect stuff in the overworld. If you look at traditional RPGs, you did have an overworld like this, very top-down, and that's where you had your battles and stuff. But now there's also kind of secrets to find everywhere, treasure chests, all sorts of things.
Yeah,
I think I'll
exactly.
leave
That's
this treasure chest right here.
No one will ever find this.
well, those guys are sky pirates, so they're traveling with their flying motorbikes. So every now and then a chest falls apart and it falls on the ground. No, it's good to let people who really want to explore the universe and the people who really want to see all the secrets. They can have a lot of time having fun. And as you can see, you don't have to do all the fights. If you're not noticed by the enemies, you can just avoid them and just go straight for the objective.
It's also cool that there's a lot of verticality in the overworld. It's not just a flat
Yeah,
map that
exactly.
you're on, right?
And sometimes it's funny because you see something, but you can't access it yet.
Yeah.
So yes, another fight, and we can see a little bit more activities like charging your range attack.
Like that guy's just standing around.
Pretty big one. And this creature there flying is a wyvern, and those are the guys who kidnapped Tani, the princess of the Sky Pirates. So you really have to make sure to defeat them all. What Fred just did here with the Higgledies, the little sprites on the ground, he's using their abilities. So every now and then they will have a circle like this, and when you do that, you actually get to use their powers. So if they are green Higgledies, they will provide you with the shield. If they are blue Higgledies, they can provide with a stun, and so on and so forth. And of course, you've got the charging abilities. So if you hold R2, you get to your special skills. Like this, they are displayed, and then with the press of square or triangle, you get a special ability. And if you charge them next to the Higgledies will jump on you, and you will get their power. So if you're next to the fire Higgledies when you charge your hit, then your hit will be in flames, and you will do some fire damages.
They're very excited to be in this battle with you.
This is what they live for.
Can they get? Speaking of which, can they die? Can they get hurt?
They can get hurt, actually. You've got a counter of Higgledies next to you, and if you take too many damages, then, well, you won't have enough Higgledies, and your hits will not be as powerful. Well, speaking as weird places, you get to see a chest on the right side, and you can't reach that, so you'll have to find a way to get to that chest. So, again, some more biscuit to chew on for the explorers.
So during combat, the other members of your party, do they act entirely on their own, or can you assign any commands to them?
Well, not only you can assign them some commands, but you can also play as them. You can dynamically switch characters during the combat. So for the sake of this demo, we only have Evan, and Roland is not playable, but in a full game you can play as Roland or anybody joining the party. But they can still manage on their own when you're not playing them.
There's a lot of gold that's just been dropped around.
Yeah. Well, those wyverns have just really crappy wallets. They keep spilling all their money everywhere.
So much loot around.
So now what about this area that we're heading into right now?
Well, that's the Wyvern's Den, and when you enter that, that's like a dungeon, so you're back into the regular mode. So we're no longer in the chibi mode, and you've got a full proportion for the characters.
So for the full proportion areas, as you're calling them, that's sort of like your RPG-type towns, and then also dungeons and stuff like that.
But you still have the same gold to catch, and you still have the chest hidden. So
and the wyverns still have the same bad wallets.
Yeah, they do.
Now, who or what are the Higgledies?
The Higgledies are these little characters,
those
little sprite next to you.
The sprites, okay.
And they are born from elements like the sun, like the fire, or the plants, and they've got specific abilities. So one of your ambition in the game is to collect them because they get some rare Higgledies, and if you find them, well, they grant you some specific powers. Wow. So here we are arriving in the den. So
I feel like there's going to be a boss fight here, maybe.
I think it's going to be fine. I don't think any enemies live here.
No,
I think this is perfectly safe.
See?
Something's not right. It's a little quiet. Too quiet. I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, these guys are great. So now we've seen some of the sort of low-level wyverns, but this guy,
he's a warlord.
Yeah, there we go. He gets the armor. The other ones just kind of get beat up without any clothes. So we're going to take a look at one of the larger boss encounters in the game right now.
Well, this mission is pretty early in the game, so it's not the biggest boss you'll see, but it's still pretty dangerous. Actually, we failed that mission quite a lot.
Really?
Off stage, so don't be afraid if everything turns wrong for us.
Attaboy. Now you've mentioned several times you don't need to have played the first game to enjoy this game. New story, new characters, but I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate a remaster of the first game.
Oh, really?
Is that yeah, I think
That's
so.
interesting.
Is that something that's been discussed? Is that a possibility?
Well, we're still looking at every possibility all the time. You know how it is. We're looking at what makes sense. Right now, the team is entirely focused on making Ni No Kuni 2 and dedicated in making the best experience possible. And the game has been in the plan for several years now. But we'll see about the fan, what they want, how they want it, and we'll act accordingly. But as of today, unfortunately, I can't confirm a remaster of the game, obviously.
All right, so how's our battle going here?
So as you can see, there's a bunch of minions that the Wyvern Warlord has spawned, and the tactic is to kill them off first, so that you can get the mana. The mana is the little crystals in blue above the health bar on the top left corner. And here you have a... See, Fred was trying to get the Higgledies up, but since we got hit, the Higgledies got down and on the floor, and that didn't work out.
I'm very worried about it losing all these little Higgledies. I've become quite attached to them over the last few minutes.
Don't worry, you always have them. It's just for the sake of the combat. You can lose most of their powers, but after the combat's done, you still have them.
That's good to know.
You can't really lose your Higgledies.
Now, this Wyvern's probably a little confused that these cat-eared people and their weird ghost children just showed up to kick their butts.
Well, I'm not sure because, you know, Wyvern are wyvering on their own, so they got to be expecting somebody to kick their ass at some point. And no, in the world of Ni No Kuni, you've got several types and races of character living in harmony. So, for instance, Ding Dong Dell, the original kingdom from Evan, has a mix of cat folks and mouse folks. So not everything is going all right all the time, but at least it's not that uncommon for people to be in the same cavern fighting wyverns.
Now, I imagine going through the story, collecting things all over the overworld is going to take players a significant amount of time. Do you guys have a sort of estimation of how many hours it might take?
Oh, you're looking north of 50 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
50 hours.
It's going to be a long game, especially if you want to look for all the rare Higgledies, you want to find all the hidden chests, and so on and so forth. There's also a bunch of new modes that we haven't really shown yet, but that includes managing the kingdom of Evan and managing the battles, and all of that will take some time and will offer some endgame features for the players. So as you can see, the Wyvern Warlord is on the last quarter of his life now, and every now and then they will drop some kind of golden orbs, just like the first game, that will give you a specific boost and will help you use your abilities without restraint.
Getting close to killing this guy.
So using this stunning Higgledies is usually a pretty good strategy to get him on the floor, because as long as he's in the air, it's... Oh, see, that's the golden orb. So right now Evan is having all his abilities, and there we go.
Tears his head
so
off.
that's it for that Wyvern.
Drinks the blood. Yeah. Just gets really dark. M-rated.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for bringing Ni No Kuni 2 by the IGN stage today.
Well, again,
is there a release date for the game?
Yes, January 19th next year.
January 19th.
And it's coming on PC, PS4.
Awesome.
PS4,
Good way to kick off the year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We still have more games to show you here at Gamescom on IGN Live after this.